Hey, what's up everyone? This is John. Welcome back to my channel. You're going to want to stay tuned if you're in real estate because in this video, I'm going to share the documents that I needed to close out my lease option. Welcome back. So as I mentioned, we were going to dive into what the lease option is and some of the docs that I use. So if you're new to real estate, you should definitely consider it as an exit strategy. If you're already in real estate, I'm sure that you're familiar with it. Some of the information may sound redundant, but I recently closed out one, so I felt I might as well do a video. So for starters, what is a lease option? I think there's a big guy by the name of Google. I'm just going to pull up the definition for you. So a lease option is an agreement that gives a renter a choice to purchase the rented property during or at the end of the rental period. It also precludes the owner from offering the property for sale to anyone else. When the term expires, the renter must either exercise the option or forfeit it. So that's straight from Google. I can go ahead and share some of my experience as well. The lease option that I recently closed was an 18-month term. So this whole part where it says when the term expires, the renter must either exercise the option or forfeit it. My tenant has 18 months that they can get their finances together, or maybe it's you're trying to get your job history, trying to build up your credit, but you're basically trying to become bankable within that term. In my case, it's the 18 months that my tenant buyer is trying to become bankable to where they will be able to go out and qualify for financing in order to make that purchase of the property. Some consideration is put down, I like to say option fee. There are no deposits with my lease options. So that can, if you do take what's called a deposit, that can later come back to bite you if you did ever have to go to court. A deposit gives off the feeling that that's something that you're going to get back. But what we use is a non-refundable option fee, and that's their consideration in the property that also goes toward the purchase price of the property. So it's normally anywhere from normally around 10% of the purchase price. Some people even go up to 20%, but it depends. You find out how much the person has, how much they're working with, and the more they put down, the more it comes off of the purchase price of the property. So let's get into the docs that were used in order to close out a lease purchase with an option to buy, an exclusive option to buy. I can't sell it to anyone but the person that's inside of my house right now for the next 18 months. So first is going to be a standard residential tenancy agreement, aka a lease. It's a standard lease just like you and your landlord, or maybe you and your tenant have right now. This is going to highlight all of the terms of the rental agreement. What's allowed, what's not allowed. It has you all's contact information in there. As you see, there's no security deposit. That's not, I don't collect any type of rental security deposit. It's going to cover the maintenance. And I'm intentionally not showing you this document or linking any type of document because I would much rather for you to go out and either draft up your own or else work with your attorney to get the doc that's particular to you or whatever state you may be in. But know that you are going to need some type of lease. Also, a part of that lease, you should have an addendum. And this is going to talk about if you all ever had to go to court because of maybe the tenant withheld payment or damaged the property or something like that. Those court fees and attorney's fees, you don't want to have to come out of pocket for that. They cause the issue, so it's their responsibility to pay those costs in addition to late fees or damage fees or whatever the reason is that you all are going to court. That's just something that I created, and it's just to make the transition into the home smoother and for them to meet the deadline. And it's a resource and responsibility sheet. So on this sheet, I give them a deadline that I want the utilities transfer from my company name to her name, and I also have the name of the utility company, the website, and the phone number. That way, everything is right before them. They can call, let them know that that they're going to be occupying the property, and they need the utilities to be in their name. So I found this to be very helpful because I don't want it. If you don't do it, like someone can really use an excuse like, oh, I didn't have the information or I didn't know how to do it. I like to lay it all out right here in the open to where there's no excuse when we come up on the deadline to why aren't the utilities transferred to your name. I like to do this besides just shutting off utilities, because when you shut off utilities, it may be an additional cost for them to come out and reactivate, either your gas or your electric or water or anything like that. I'd much rather just have it transferred over. Be careful with here in St. Louis, our water and sewer, as those are lienable utilities. So if you are going to transfer that, you really can't transfer it because you're in the lease option. You're still on deed. The deed is not turned over until the tenant buyer actually buys the property. So what I do is I call the company. I have my tenant buyer's name and I have them added onto the account, and they receive the same bill like I would receive. However, a duplicate bill comes to my house, and that way I can keep an eye on it, make sure that the bill is still being paid, because I don't want 18 months or 12 months to go by and these lienable utilities, they haven't been paying on them. So that's what I would suggest, and you won't be able to transfer those to them anyway because you're still on title. You wouldn't turn over title during the lease option. I know you wouldn't do that. Next up is the option to purchase. This is going to highlight all of the buying details. So your lease is your rental details. The option is your buying details. That consideration that the tenant put down, whether it's $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, that does not go in your lease agreement. That goes in your option agreement. So you'll want to make sure that you and your attorney work together to drop a bulletproof out. And next is a seller's disclosure statement for residential property. Everything that you know that's going on with that property, you want to put it in a disclosure. It's mandatory. Whenever you're selling the property or whenever you're renting out a property, you want to have some type of disclosure so the person knows the condition of the property that they're buying or moving into. So this is definitely recommended. I do it with every property that I sell. I also have my properties on lockbox, so they're able to go in with the contractor, inspect the property from top to bottom, and if they want the property, then we'll move further in the application process. And if not, it's good to nip it in the bud right there, as opposed to coming to the closing table and discovering that, oh man, I don't want this, or I can't take care of this, or maybe I'm not up for this task. Actually had that happen to me before. It was a lady. She was looking to move into a property. However, for this property, whoever moved in, they were going to be responsible for the maintenance and the repairs. So a lot of our conversations was, hey, go on over, inspect it, take the contractor over, look it over. And she said that she went over with the contractor. It was her uncle, and they saw it, they love it, they like it, they're ready to move. However, once we got to closing, she brought her father, which is cool. Bring someone to help you look over documents, make sure you're making the correct decision. But at closing, pretty much I'm done with the house. It's more focused on the paperwork, because I give you unlimited access to that property. It's on lockbox. You call me. All I do is just give you the code, and I disarm the alarm so you can go in and check it out. However, he didn't like the terms. He didn't like the rental price that we agreed upon already. He didn't like just how a lease with an option works. He wanted something more that was on the financing, but that's not what we put out there. So you can't just come changing my terms at the closing table. And we didn't go through with that one. So that taught me a lesson: is any other decision maker besides yourself, I need to meet them early on in the process, because we had to schedule that time with the attorney, and we're wasting not only the attorney's time, but we're wasting my time. There were other people in line for their property to where they could have been sitting right there at that closing table as well. And we're wasting their time as well. Like if you got a good feeling that the person that you're bringing along with you may have some objection, let's hop on the phone call a week or a few days before the closing. That way we can let you know that, hey, this may not be the best property for you. However, you're on our buyer's list. So anything that we get, we're going to send to you, and I guarantee you that we'll have something that will be a better fit for you. If that wasn't the case, we got to the attorney's office, and we basically had to shut that one down. It was cool because we had someone else that was ready to close within the next couple of weeks. So that worked out. But that's something else to you know, make sure that you pay attention to. And that was talking about the seller's disclosure. Make sure you have one of those. I forgot what year it is in the 70s, but it's, if your house was built before, you want to definitely make sure that you have a lead paint disclosure in your packet as well. And you and the tenant buyer will need to sign that. And then lastly, this one wasn't even my document, but it was the attorney's office, and whatever attorney's office you close with, most likely they are going to have you sign some type of acknowledgement. And this is that. That have your tenant buyer sign this acknowledgement. This is saying that they understand why the attorney was hired. No one's putting the gun to their head, making them sign anything, or they're compliant. They're willing to go into this agreement with you in order to purchase this property or lease the property out with the option to purchase. And speaking of acknowledgement, I know that you guys are using an attorney for any time that you enter into a long-term relationship with any business partner, but in this particular case, real estate. You're entering into a landlord-tenant relationship, and it's not uncommon for yourself as a property owner, for us, even the tenant, to grow amnesia over 9 months, over 12 months, over 18 months. And this paperwork, it's better to rely on this paperwork even in your brain, because you'll begin to forget things, or they'll begin to forget things, those small, minute details that they agreed upon a year prior or 18 months prior. So it's really good to let your paperwork do all of the talking for you, and do that in the midst of an attorney or a professional third party. No over the counter, over the dining room table, over the kitchen table, none of that when you enter into a long-term relationship with the tenant buyer. So I would highly, highly recommend you get an attorney, go to your RAI meetings, find out a recommended attorney, hop on Google, find a recommended attorney. It's worth it in order to be secure and to be able to sleep at night knowing that if anything did come up, you did everything that you could to hire a third party to, protect the interests of both of you all. So I think that's it. If there are forms that I missed or docs that I missed that you currently use, drop them in the comments. Maybe I'll add that or shoot it to the attorney who closes mine out and say, hey, it's people that's using this document. Do you think that it would be good to throw into the packet as well? If you're doing traditional rentals, maybe look at lease options. They are another great exit strategy. It offers 3 profit centers. You're able to get money up front. Your cash flowing on the property, and then the goal is for that tenant buyer to actually buy that property, for them to become bankable to where they're able to obtain financing, whether it's through a bank or private money, to where they'll be able to buy the property. And that's your 3rd profit center on the property. So as opposed to just selling off the property outright and getting paid one time, with the lease purchase, it offers you 3 profit centers. So yeah, check it out. Toss it in your arsenal of exit strategies in real estate. I really appreciate you guys for stopping by this week and checking out my video. My goal is to have a video come in once every week. So again, I'm John. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.